Hey guys, welcome to Wait a Minute. My videos, my thoughts, and I'm sharing them with you. Hey, I just to see if I can get my thoughts together on this one. Um, it's a little more complicated than what I like to do in a Wait a Minute video, but we're gonna try, okay? Um, there is, um, there are some people around that are complicating serving God, okay? And I'm gonna try to make it a little simpler, or at least give my opinion on how to make it simpler. I'm a Christian. I serve God, and I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. I do my very best to get the best and most accurate knowledge, um, biblically sound, and yeah, that's what I do. And I know very few people today in today's world. I'm not saying I don't know anybody, because I do know one person in particular, but I know very few people in today's world personally that read Greek or Hebrew or any other language for that matter. But just getting that out there so that part's done. Okay. I have people that I know that I love and I even like that are getting involved in some stuff that to me makes me worry about them. Now, I don't care as far as my loving them or my being around them or my being a part of their lives. I don't care what they how they feel about certain things, because that's their business. But when it gets in the way of who they should be as a Christian, it bothers me. And that's what we're talking about. Okay, you can believe whatever you want. I guess I should save gas and turn off the vehicle, right? You can believe whatever you want. You can think that the earth is flat. You can think that there was no lunar landing. You can think that, that men came from one planet, women came from another planet. You can believe that, anything. That's up to you. And you can believe just all different things, oddball things, okay? And by oddball, I mean that people didn't talk about before and they're all of a sudden talking about now. Now, here's the thing though. Where did you hear the stuff that you're hearing? And without a second party answering my questions, because I'm not interviewing somebody, I'll tell you where you heard it. You heard it from other people who are pushing that narrative. There are people out there that are pushing the flat earth scenario, that are pushing no lunar landing and all these other things. And I don't care whether there was a lunar landing or not. What I care about is when they start messing with the Bible. That's when I start caring. And when I shudder as soon as when someone starts telling me, well, in the Greek it says this. Because then I'm like, do you read Greek? No. Do you understand Greek? No. But I read a book about a guy who reads Greek. Okay, well, I read my Bible, which is a book about people who read and wrote Greek. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, where do you get your information? Who is this person? What is this person's story? All of that stuff, take that into account. But the thing is your stuff doesn't trump my stuff. Unless you understand Greek and you can go back and read transcripts that are thousands of years old. Again, I do know a guy who can do that. But unless you can do that, you might want to chill. Because you can have your opinions and that's fine. But you don't know any better than I do. You read it somewhere, I read it somewhere. I read it in a book that's, old, and you maybe read it in a book that's old, or you maybe read it from a person who just wrote a book about something that's old. So you got to be careful. The Bible talks about in the last days there'll be people that say all these weird things, and we're supposed to, that people will fall for it. Even smart people. That's such a paraphrase. Oh my gosh. Even smart people that were close to God at one time or could have been close to God will fall for this stuff that starts coming out at the end. That's just stuff that misleads people. And here's my thing though, is people who push those narratives are almost always people who are not abiding by what the Bible says in the first place. For example, if you're sitting there and you're so drunk you can barely see me, and you're telling me what the Greek says and how flat the earth is, it's maybe you should focus more on where it talks about not being a drunkard. If you're, a lying, cheating, stealing, drunken, adultering, whatever, murdering, whatever, maybe you should start thinking about the things that you know are wrong. Then talk about things that you're willing to die on a hill for a flat earth. Well, you know what? Truthfully, I don't care if you believe in a flat earth or not. I really don't. But I do believe whether or not you believe that you're supposed to kill somebody. Is it okay to kill somebody? Is it okay to, be so drunk that all I want to do is cheat on my wife and all that stuff? If your belief system doesn't include those things, then I really don't respect your belief system anyway, because those things are kind of important, especially if you claim to be a godly person, because those things are part of what makes you godly. To be an honest person, lying, cheating, stealing, and all that kind of stuff is not okay. And it's biblically not okay. And I don't know because I don't read Greek, but I bet you that the going way back, it still didn't want you to lie, cheat, steal, murder. And I'm just being open with you. I don't read Greek. I don't want to. I really don't. I do my very best with what I have available, and I don't just jump on every bandwagon that comes along. Every time somebody writes a new Bible or comes up with a new whatever, I don't jump on everything that comes along, because I don't think that just because you're sharp or you're witty or you're likable or whatever that you're believable. Because just because you're believable or just because you're attractive in one way or another doesn't mean that you're believable. So I'm saying all this to say, I guess I'm not wanting to argue about that subject necessarily, but I want to put this down so people will understand what I'm trying to say is there's a lot of things that come out now that have never been around my whole life. Things that someone just came out with, oh, guess what? The Greek says this, or the something says, or they just found this scroll that's never been found by anybody buried under the high school that says, or whatever. They come up with stuff that, it's obscure and it's anti-Bible. And funny that it's anti-Bible, and it just came out here around the end times when the Bible said that there would be stuff coming out about the end times that would be false. Funny that that's just happening now, right at the time that the Bible said it would. That to me is odd. Or maybe it's not as odd as it sounds. Maybe that's exactly what it sounds like. So I'm saying all that to say, you guys, I care about you. I care about your lives. I care about your souls. But out of all of the stuff that I care about you, the thing I care about the most is your soul. I want you to have a relationship with God. I want you to go to heaven. I want you to believe biblical principles. I want you to live a good life. And I can tell you right now, some of you that are preaching this stuff to me, your life doesn't back up your godliness. You are not living a godly life. Therefore, anything you say, it loses any power that it would hold otherwise. Any respect that I would have for what you say is lost when you can't live a godly life to begin with. I'm just saying that to be honest. I'm not trying to put anybody down. I love all of you guys, and there's some of you I'm really fond of that I totally disagree with. But it doesn't mean that we can't be friends. It doesn't mean I don't love you. It just means that we're not in agreement on our religious principles or whatever. But I hope that nobody's going to get angry or whatever, but I hope that you'd get challenged enough that maybe you'll think about what I'm saying. Challenged enough that maybe you'll pray, maybe you'll study, maybe you'll think rationally and logically and put your heart and mind and soul into being open, not just with this one thing. Don't just go the direction you want to go. Don't just go that, hey, I like what I can do if I believe this way, so I'm going to go over there. Don't pick a belief system just because you get to live like the devil. A lot of people do that. Pick a belief system that you believe is right. And then if you need to tweak it as time goes on, as you grow and as you learn more, then do that. I love you. I hope it makes sense. See ya.